Okay, we're working on calculating simple interest. So we have a question up here. Shane has $1,600 he wants to invest. He meets a mob boss who's willing to give him 5% simple interest on his money annually if he invests in the mob. He'll let Shane invest his money for 3 years. So how much interest will Shane make? It's pretty straightforward. There is a formula for it, and we're going to show the formula so you guys get used to it. Okay? This is calculating simple interest. Would this be this formula here? And the I stands for your interest that he's going to get. Okay? So this is the amount of interest. This is not the interest rate. So I is amount of interest. P stands for principal. I can't remember if it's PLE or PAL. I think it's PLE.
Why? I might have been.
Principal. Yes. Principal stands for the original amount of money. Okay? So what they mean by that is Shane's principal will be $1,600. That will be our P variable. R actually stands for the interest rate.
So I is always a variable? Like it's always I?
Yeah. Our actual interest rate here is our R, which is in this case 5%.
Would it be 0.05?
Yeah, but we're going to have to convert it to a decimal. So when we convert 5% to a decimal, it becomes 0.05. If you don't know how to do that, what you need to do is take 5 and divide it by 100. And it'll give you that amount. Okay? And finally, our T is time. Okay? So the amount of time this is accruing interest for. Now, time is completely relative to two things. Obviously, the amount of time that passes, and in this case, that's 3 years. And it's also relative to when the interest is earned. Okay? And in this one, it's considered annually. So this guy gets interest. What does annually mean?
Every year.
Every year. So he's going to get 5% interest at the, we won't say the end, but he's going to get 5% interest every single year. So in terms of time, how many periods have passed?
3.
3 periods have passed. In other words, T is equal to time. And another way to say that is time and or periods, okay? Because he could be getting interest every month and invest for 3 years. If he did that, got interest every month and invested for 3 years, how many periods would pass then?
36.
36, that's right. We would take 3 and multiply it by the number of months in a year, which is 12. So we get 36. Anyways, back to this easier question. So we need to figure out how much interest is earned, which is our I. Well, it says P times R times T. In this case, P is $1,600. R is 0.05. And our time is the number 3. So we take these numbers, 1600 times 0.05 times 3 equals $240. So at the end of 3 years, Shane will have earned $240 in interest for investing in the mob. Okay. Second part, how much money will Shane have at the end of 3 years? How much money will Shane get at the end of this? So we'll call this part B, and that was A.
1,840.
So we take this B, and a formula we could use for this is amount A is equal to your principal plus your uppercase I, which is our interest. Okay, and we'll just, A is going to be amount, or total amount, we'll say.
So these equations are just like common sense.
They seem very common sense if you're used to using money, right? So our principal was that $1,600, and Shane apparently earned $240 interest. He gets $1,840 or $1,840 in the total amount after 3 years of investing in the mob. Shane is concerned that his money is now being used for unethical practices.
Oh, that should make it nice.
He decides that he'll withdraw his money from his investment. He does this 4 months after he invests. How much money has Shane earned at this point? Okay, so we're still talking about what? Are we talking about the total amount right now, or are we talking about his interest? We're talking about his interest earned, the uppercase I. So we're going to use that formula again. I is equal to principal times the interest rate multiplied by time. Okay? So we need to again figure out how much interest Shane has earned at this point. We know his principal investment was $1,600. The interest rate was still 0.05. But time is now different. He was getting money every year. But he gets 5% a year. Okay, so after 1 year passes, that'd be the equivalent of 1 in terms of time. But he actually hasn't invested his money for an entire year. How long has he invested his money for? 4 months. How can I make that a fraction?
0.4. 0.04.
Think of definitely 1/3. How can I make it a fraction I can apply to the number of months in a year?
4 to 12.
4 out of 12, right? So what that's saying is his time is he invested his money for 4 months out of a total of 12. Because every 12 months is when he's going to earn a total of 5%, which can be broken down to 1/3, which you guys said. Okay. So instead of putting T, we put in 3, we put in 1/3. He's only invested his money for 1/3 of a year. Okay? So when we go to multiply that, you could use that as a decimal, which is 0.3 repeated, or you could put it in like a fraction in your calculator. It's up to you. So his principal was at 1,600. 1,600 times the 0.05, okay, which is $80, and we got to multiply it by a fraction of 1/3. So times, let's see if I can do this here. 1 divided by 3. Is that the right number? Yeah, it's probably 1/3. Okay, 1,600 times 0.5 was 80. We still have to multiply by 1/3. I like to do the math myself, so that's 80 over 3, which is, yeah, it is about approximately $26.67. And the mob, being the honorable organization that they are, they gave Shane $26.67, they even rounded up a penny, cents for investing in them for a total of 4 months. Okay, question 3. Shane's friend Dave invested money in a rival mob 9 years ago. He was repaid a total of $2,200 and was told that he was getting an interest rate of 7%. Shane wants to know how much money Dave originally invested. Now remember, this is simple interest. And it says that the total amount of money he was repaid, okay, the total amount of money, which is our A, was $2,200. Now we know our total amount is actually the principal plus the amount of interest he made. Problem is here, principal unknown, and we actually don't know what the amount of interest he made was. We do know the interest rate, and we do know how long ago this happened. So this capital I for total amount of interest made, how can we break that down?
Isolation.
Okay. What is I equal to?
7%. $154. Isn't it? I is equal to
I is equal to PRT. Those variables we went through. PRT is P is our principal. Okay. R is the interest rate, which we know, 7%. Okay. R is 7%. P is what we're actually looking for. And time. T is 9 years. We're going to also assume he was getting annually. I know I didn't write that in the question. Sorry. Annually. Okay. So his time was 9 years. So we're going to replace the I with PRT. So we have $220 is equal to P plus PRT.
You can do that?
We know I is equal to something. You can substitute any formula that variable would be equal to into it. Just like substitution in grade 10 when you guys were solving. Yeah, with that stuff. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so our R, we need to write it as a decimal. That's right, we just divided by 100. 7 divided by 100 is 0.07. So, to solve this, $2,200 is equal to principal we don't know, plus the principal we still don't know, times 0.07 times 9. Now, kind of got a problem here. I have two P's, and I'm trying to solve. Okay? when we were doing our quadratics, the whole reason we completed the square or we factored is because we didn't know what our numbers were. We'd have two variables. We need to break it down to one variable here. So I'm actually going to go back up here. So we're going to go back up to this point here, and in fact what I'm going to do is we're going to get rid of our amounts, and we're going to go back to the original equation of A. A is equal to P plus PRT. Okay? What I want you guys to recognize here is I can common factor. Remember we did this back in chapter 2, I believe, maybe 3 also. What would a common factor be in P plus PRT? P. So we're actually going to take P out, and we're left with 1 plus RT. Now I only have one variable representing principal, so I'm going to plug my values into this. Our A was $2,200, that was the total amount. P being our principal, 1 plus 0.07 multiplied by our 9. What is it? 0. Yeah, that makes sense. So P is equal to, when we calculate this, we get 1.063 is equal to $2,200. And we need to isolate 4P. So we need to divide this side by 1.063, or both sides, 1.063. So our P is equal to 2200.
Sir,
Yeah.
you did like 22,000.
Oh, did I? Sorry. 1, 2. $2,069.61. So $2,069.61. So apparently Dave invested $2,069.61 9 years ago in the mob, and he was repaid $2,200 on the dot 9 years later. Now, with that being said, it's a poor interest rate. How much interest did he earn?
That's horrible.
How much interest did he earn?
130.
Did you see that? He's pretty close. I don't know why you guys are laughing. So, $2,200. Subtract 2,069.61. Okay? When we actually go to subtract this, if you guys remember all your subtraction, the borrowing, anyone remember?
Wait, sir, what's the point of this? Oh.
We're finding out how much interest he earned.
Oh, okay.
Whoops.
So we just
$130.39 is what he earned in 9 years at 7%. It's okay, so we look at this. This doesn't actually make sense to what we did before. The other guy had a 5%, Shane had a 5% interest rate, and in less years earned more money. So we jumped back and we took a look, and we made a mistake here. It's not 1.063.
No, it's 9.63.
It should be 1.63.
One 9.
Shouldn't get 9.
1.
So just do it again on the calculator.
0.07 times 9. So
Times-
times it by 9, and it's already 1. So check the
No,
calculator.
we don't multiply the 1. We just multiply these two. 0.07 times 9 is 0.63.
We add the
0.63 plus 1 is 1.63. So we should have divided by 1.63. I'm not sure why I'm just scribbling. I have an eraser.
I think it said 0.63G.
Oh, did you? That was my fault. Sorry, guys. All right, so let's actually figure it out. $220 divided by 1.63. There we go. So originally he actually invested less, which makes sense. $1,349.69 was his original principal. I'm going to subtract that from the amount he got back, and the interest he actually earned was $850 and about 30 cents. Not the interest we had over here.
That's still bad.
that.
It's actually a pretty good interest rate if you compare it to banks and stuff. Banks you earn much less.
Yeah, makes sense.
So he earned Dave did pretty well for himself. He invested roughly $1,350 and made about $850 interest in 9 years. Way to go, Dave. Good investment.
Go make a